Alice, we've just come from the Tourism Ireland marketing plans launch in the Clayton Hotel, Burlington Road. Great day, packed room. I think there was over 500 industry personnel there. Tell us a little bit about Tourism Ireland's, I suppose, hopes and aspirations for the year ahead.
Thanks, Owen. And yes, it was a real treat to see so many of our industry colleagues and partners today. It's an opportunity when we have our marketing plans launched to look back and look forwards. That was what
Yeah,
today was all about. Looking back over the past year, we reckon overseas tourism spend will have reached 7 billion in the year. That's up over 10% year over year on 2023. So even though it was a mixed year in terms of everybody's experiences on the ground, it is good to see that increased visitor spend. And our aspiration for the future is to keep growing that. We've laid out a goal of getting to 9 billion in overseas visitor spend by 2030 with the
and
right
and that
supports in
and
place to
that's
facilitate it.
that's for the island of Ireland, is it?
That is for the island of Ireland, exactly.
Yeah,
And so today was talking about the challenges that might get in the way of that.
yeah,
Um, Talking about the opportunities that would help us get there, and then the plans that we have to navigate there with the
yeah.
rest of the industry.
And let's just get sort of the bad stuff out of the way. The challenges as you see them in kind of a whistle stop tour from the challenges. Don't depress us too much.
Well, look, I think the 10% year over year growth last year was fantastic to see, and it came at an important time because for industry, there have been increased costs of doing business. And so every little bit of revenue has been needed. So cost is one point that's on both industry and consumers' minds and competitiveness. The Dublin airport cap is very much top of mind. We've already seen the constraints that puts on air seat capacity in the winter months where, while the cap is in place over the winter schedule, we've seen -4% seats from North America, -3% seats from Great Britain. And so while
Yeah.
the cap's on hold during the summer months, it is vital for tourism and for business that it's reviewed. And in the meantime, of course, we'll be helping to maximize demand for those regional airports, but it's not either or, it definitely needs to be both. I think, there's a level of complexity coming in for visitors to Northern Ireland with the new electronic travel
Yeah.
authorization or ETA. And finally, concentration is a topic you and I have chatted about quite a bit. There's so much to celebrate in seeing that visitor spend from North America grew by 20%
Yeah.
last year. Canada, which deserves a shout out, grew by 23%. But we also don't want to be in a position where there's only a couple of markets that we have that are really powering ahead and growing strongly. So we're
Yeah.
going to be looking closely at how would we step change growth in our mainland European markets, for example, for the years to come. We've also set up a global partnerships team looking at further afield markets also. So those are the challenges.
Yeah.
But there's
And
lots of
just
opportunity too.
yeah, exactly. And the opportunities are nearly the other side of the same coin, aren't they? So you mentioned North America, which I suppose we're all a little bit worried about over concentration, as you say. But at the same time, we want to keep it strong. There's lots of opportunity there. The air access now from the US and Canada is remarkable, isn't it?
It is. And look, again, it's been a little bit constrained by the cap in the winter months, but the summer is likely to be strong once
Yeah.
again. And, it is pretty amazing to think for an island of our size that we are, the fourth biggest transatlantic hub in Europe for the US. So lots of opportunity there, both in the US and Canada. And then, other opportunities. I mean, I think lovely to see sentiment strong as regards the island of Ireland. We've got 75% of people when surveyed would like to visit at some point. That's up 8 percentage points year over year. And now it's about getting people to book and come this year or
Yeah.
imminently. And then there's lots of soft influence to play to as well in terms of Colin Farrell off winning Golden Globes. You've got
Indeed.
Hosier with US number ones. You've got the Splitting the G Guinness craze, if folks haven't checked in on that already. So we love to do our own marketing and publicity, but we also make sure that we're tapping into the zeitgeist and we're leveraging those movies and films and popular culture that might be in the world's mind at any point in time. And we do a
Yeah.
lot around screen tourism, for example, to leverage off those moments.
Yeah. It's so competitive, isn't it? Marketing or destination marketing. An American visitor can choose anywhere in Europe to say nothing about the rest of the world. So Ireland has to compete very hard, and budget is finite. So I suppose the quality of the content, the quality of the creative, how you get it in front of the eyeballs of consumers is more important than ever.
That's absolutely right. I mean, I am so passionate about the product that we have on the
Mm.
island of Ireland, about those selling points that people love, our scenery, our culture, our history. But it is worth remembering from time to time that other countries also have scenery and culture and heritage. And it's a good exercise, actually. I recommend for everybody, go follow Visit Scotland, go follow Iceland and Norway and all the other destinations, because it's good to remind ourselves, as
Yeah,
magical as our destination is, it is competitive out there and it's about standing out. And again, our perspective is we want to make sure that we're showcasing the best of the island, but we also partner up with others. So we talked about screen tourism. Game of Thrones did a huge job for Northern Ireland. Bad Sisters has been a hit on Apple TV. It
yeah,
was filmed behind the scenes with Sharon Horgan and the cast, who all shared what they love about the island of Ireland. So it's also about getting others to speak for you. We had a
yeah,
Dermot O'Leary series in Great Britain last year, with Dermot filming right the way around the island over 6 episodes and sharing what he loves.
yeah.
So yeah, it's about our creative and remembering that it's competitive out there, and then it's about having others speak for us in a really credible way
Yeah.
that helps spread the message too.
Yeah, and talking about creative, as I understand it, Tourism Ireland went out to tender on their creative agency. There's a new creative agency appointed. So I suppose gradually, as this year progresses, we'll begin to see some output from that agency.
Absolutely. So we went out to tender. We're looking for a creative partner who could both uh, understand Ireland and go deep with us on the destination, and would have partners on the ground to help them with that. But also, crucially, remembering that what Tourism Ireland does is overseas marketing, we
Yeah,
also wanted a partner with a real track record on tapping into what audiences want and need across the overseas markets. So we've recently announced that we appointed Grey London. They've worked with other big Irish brands, be it Vodafone Ireland, Bank of Ireland, etc. They have lots of partners, production houses, and creative folks on the ground in Ireland, but they also really know how to get a tourism message out around the world, having worked with other clients, car brands, etc. So mostly it was about the team, very talented team there. We can't wait to get to work with them. And we will be looking to elevate Brand Ireland again this year, because we're becoming, more of a premium destination.
yeah,
And so we really need to be top of people's wish lists as they think about where to go. We're not going to be chosen based on being the cheapest. We need to be
yeah.
chosen because people really want and desire to come to us the most.
Yeah, and that's really exciting stuff. And also what I found really interesting from today was all your industry partnerships, with airlines or ferry carriers or hotels, and there's lots of platforms, isn't there, for industry to work with you this year?
Yeah, look, partnerships to help get people to the island will be really important. I think access to the island is on everybody's minds. We talked about the Dublin Airport cap earlier. One of the things that we'll be putting increased funding into is cooperative marketing with the air
Yeah,
and sea carriers. And what that means is, ideally, a consumer overseas is going to see some inspiring content from us, be it a documentary on TV or our social channels or advertising. And then ideally, that same consumer is going to see a really compelling offer for flying from their home city to somewhere on the island of Ireland. And that helps prompt the actual booking or the conversion. And we work collaboratively with all sorts of air and sea carrier partners. It benefits the regional airports, of
yeah,
course. We also want to ensure that the share of inbound visitors on those flights coming into Dublin remains strong, because on any given plane, it's not just visitors coming in, it's returning folks coming back to Ireland, it's people using Dublin as a hub. So we want to keep demand strong overall. And then finally, also spend per trip is going to be more important than ever, because if you've got a volume constraint, you want to make sure that the value is there and that people are seeing more, doing more, enjoying more, and spending more. So that would be the air and sea carrier partner end of things. But we put a call out today for everybody to get in touch. If you've compelling stories across the industry, big ideas that you want to market and get out there, we've excellent relationships with media around the world, you know, from top publications to TV broadcasting through to our own social channels that are now followed by over 7 million people. So
Yeah.
we love getting stories out there. And a couple of examples from the past year where the Irish Whiskey Association mentioned to us, well, it's the 700-year anniversary of the first written reference to whiskey distilling in Ireland.
Yeah.
So we ran a campaign with them celebrating that 700 years and how truly whiskey was invented in Ireland. So helping to get the
Absolutely.
message out there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And another campaign with Great Lighthouses of Ireland. So, you know, if you think about the world today, maybe 20 years ago in marketing, you had one big TV ad and that was what you put
Yeah.
out there. These days, people are using social media for their inspiration. We're constantly even reading the news on social media. So there's a constant stream of content needed, which in some ways opens up the opportunity for us to be putting out all kinds of exciting stories about what you could see and do on the island of Ireland. Another stat today, actually, that still kind of blows my mind, an Expedia study that when we're choosing holidays, people will visit, on average, 277 web pages and spend 5 hours researching, which is longer than your average marathon. So that's the
Yeah.
amount of thought people put in
Yeah.
before they choose a holiday. And that's why we love to embrace all of these different stories that we can publish both on social media and on our website and help persuade people this is a magical place to come.
Yeah. And those compelling stories, as you say, it's a two-way street, isn't it? Because you know you don't have a monopoly over it, so you depend on industry to provide some of the intelligence behind it. But it all feeds into kind of season extension and regional spread as well. And I know they're important things for Tourism Ireland.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, again, if we think about our capacity to welcome more visitors, part of the picture has to be encouraging people that there are must visit things to see and do
Yeah.
outside of the peak season so that you have the accommodation capacity to be able to welcome everybody. So we're building out a calendar this year, you know, of everything from the major festivals, of course, but through to those micro moments on what's going on around the island that might make somebody want to come and
Yeah.
visit. And with that regional spread as well. And a big moment for the Northwest this year will be the Coast to Coast campaign that we've got shared island funding to help drive awareness that actually the Causeway Coast and the Wild Atlantic Way join together
Yeah.
in Derry, Londonderry. And so you can take in two amazing coasts in one epic trip. And that
Yeah.
will do a job for the Northwest, which the Wild Atlantic Way has been a tremendous success. And we celebrated 10 years last year. But actually, there's more visitation that could happen in the Northwest and that we want to encourage.
Yeah, great. Well, listen, Alice, it was a super morning this morning. I know you're going to do a similar exercise with our northern colleagues very shortly. Best of luck for the year ahead and keep stimulating demand and keep all those overseas visitors coming to our country.
Oh, thank you, Owen. And if I can just say a huge thank you to you for all of your leadership in the tourism industry and to all of your wonderful members, because really there would be nothing for us to market if it wasn't for the great work that you all do. So thanks, everybody.
Thanks so much, Alice.